Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our curriculum meeting for this year. For Lego class, no longer reception. Your little ones are now in year one. When they came back from some holidays, I couldn't believe how much they've all grown up and how much they've changed. They've matured and their sense of humor has developed, and we've been having an amazing time. I wish I could do this face-to-face with you, but obviously due to COVID, that is impossible, but we'll try and do the best that we can. If I haven't covered anything and you have any queries, please just pop me a mail and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Just the first thing I want to go through in our classroom are all the adults and the staff that are there. There are a few staff members that we have coming in and out, but they are assigned to our bubbles. So it is safe, so you don't need to worry about them. Obviously, you've got me as the class teacher. One of our LSAs is Miss Garrity, and she comes in and she assists the children at times. We've got Mrs. Escott, who's another LSA, and she comes in and assists the children in the mornings. For lunch, we've got Miss Perry and Mrs. Crompton. They come in and they help the children with their lunch, and they make sure that everyone's eating their lunch and everything is settled, and they take them out to play when they've finished eating. And if I have meetings and I'm not able to be in the classroom, we have Mrs. Newman who takes over from me, and then she teaches the children while I'm not there. Just our routines and the way we go about our day. Coming into school, I think you're all very familiar with how it is at the moment. We come in at the earliest playground into the Key Stage 1 hall. I come out 5 minutes earlier, and what we'll then do is take the children that are at school a little bit earlier. We'll then take them through to the classroom. That just gets them out of the cold as the weather's starting to change, and it also gives us a bit of time to organize the children in the classroom with not so much of a rush, because it just gives us a bit more time to assist them to wash their hands, which they do when they get into school. And then once they've washed their hands and chosen their lunch, they then get on with busy fingers activities. When leaving, they go via the same route that they came in. They go through the earliest playground out the Key Stage 1 hall doors. And again, I normally take them out about 5 minutes earlier to let those children go for the parents who are waiting, just so that we can try and clear the playground as quickly as possible before the next class gets released from the hall. There are some children who are waiting for siblings, and I will take those children back, and they will spend another 10 minutes or 15 minutes with me, and then I'll bring those children back out again. Please, could I ask you a huge favor? I must say you are very good at this. If someone else is fetching your child other than you, please could I ask you to notify the office. They will then update what we call the collection list, and we check that collection list on a daily basis just before we go out, to make sure if anyone's going home with somebody different. If someone does arrive to fetch your child and they're not on that collection list, or they're not on the emergency contact list, we will not let them go. We will then phone you just to find out what the plans are and if it's okay for them to go. Coming back to school has been very, very different, but I've been amazed at how the children have adapted, and just it seems like they've been doing this forever. They just absolutely amaze me. Some of the COVID measures in the classroom are hand washing. We wash hands all day, and they've got quite good at it, which I'm very proud of. They wash their hands when they come to school in the morning. They wash their hands again before and after they've had a snack. They wash their hands before and after they've eaten lunch, and we do our final hand wash before we go home. After they've obviously coughed or sneezed, or they've blown their noses, or they've been to the bathroom, we then ask them to wash their hands in addition to all the other times. Just to make it a little bit easier, we then use antibac gel. I'll use the antibac gel. So for example, they've got a little bit of a break and we take them outside to have a bit of a play. We then give them antibac gel on their hands before they go out and when they come back in, but that is when there hasn't been any snack that's been given. If they go and do the mile run, or we go for a walk outside, and then also in the classroom as needed. For example, if we're changing readers, we antibac our hands before and regularly throughout, just to make sure that we try and keep the germs at bay and just try and avoid minimal cross-contamination through contact. Other COVID measures that we have in the classroom are our resources. There's daily cleaning of shared resources, so that all the tables get cleaned, all the chairs get cleaned. the contact surface areas, the toys get sprayed down. We clean everything to try and keep it as hygienic as possible. Shared resources are cleaned after each use. So, for example, whiteboards, pens, whiteboards, markers, erasers, and things like that, we do clean those down. I must say our class is very good. We've taught them they'll each get their whiteboard and their pen and their marker. And once they've used it, we put some spray onto a piece of paper towel for them, and they've got very good at cleaning the back and the front and their whiteboards and their erasers, just to assist and help them become a little bit more independent. What we will then do is every second day we will give it a good thorough clean with antibac, just to make sure that all the germs have been killed. We also, in the reading corner, if the children are going to read books, we ask them to wash their hands before and after, and again, that's just to avoid cross-contamination. There are classroom procedures that are in place. So there's a thorough cleaning rota that happens before and after school. So when I arrive at school and the LSAs arrive at school, we give the classroom a good clean. We sanitize the tables, the chairs, any contact surface areas, window latches, door handles, taps, the soap dispensers and things like that. Any surfaces that the children could come into contact with, we give those a clean before they arrive, and it's then done again once they've left the classroom in the afternoons. The tables are also sprayed down and cleaned before they have lunch, so it's sanitary and clean when they sit down. Once they finish their lunch, they then pack it away, they wash their hands, and we then clean the tables down again. There's regular cleaning of the toilets and communal areas in the classroom. Taps get cleaned, the soap dispensers, because they're all there and they're using those spaces. So we make sure that those stay extra clean. Other COVID measures that we have in place are those for PE days. For the moment, we've got one PE day for the autumn term, which is a Monday. We've asked that the children come to school in their PE kit, which would be their house color t-shirt and black shorts, long bottoms, plain jumper, and trainers, please. If they're going to be outside, which we will be, we make use of every opportunity when it's not raining, but it might be a little bit chilly outside. Please, could we just ask you to pack something appropriate that they could wear, so that it does keep them a little bit warm. Things have also changed with regards to Google Classroom as such a success. I really enjoyed the time that we had on the Google Classroom and just seeing the learning that the kids were doing at home and just how excited they were to do things. So what we've done is we've kept the Google Classroom up and running, but we've opened up a new one. If you haven't accepted the Google Classroom invite, please could I ask you to accept it. If you are having problems logging on, please could I just ask you then to also send me an email, and I'll see what I can do to sort that out. What we are going to be using the Google Classroom for is self-isolation or distance learning. What that will be is for those children who are due to waiting for COVID tests, or from themselves or friends or family that they've come into contact with. Classroom work will be uploaded on a weekly basis on a Friday. The work that gets uploaded is work that has been covered in class already and will reflect on what we've been learning. I will then give feedback on the work that the children have done during that self-isolation or distance learning time when the children return to school, and any of the work that is submitted will be done through assignments. We then also using it for their home learning. That will also be shared on the Google Classroom, and it will be set. You'll be able to see it's visible. It's there for the entire term. If the children do any of those assignments, it can be uploaded like you did on Google Classroom before. Please could I ask you just not to send any of the actual physical work in, as much as I'd love to see it. Obviously, again, due to COVID, we can't have any models or pictures or things like that coming into the classroom, but please take a photo and send it to me or email it to me, and I'd absolutely love to see it. What we will be doing in the near future is streaming stuff onto the Google Classroom, onto the stream. This is going to replace Twitter. So any learning that we do, we'll try and post that as soon as possible and as quickly as possible, just so that you get an idea of what we've been doing in the classroom and you've got something additional to talk to your children about. Trips, unfortunately, there won't be any trips at the moment due to obvious reasons. It is sad, but we're hoping that we'll be able to take them on trips and outings as soon as possible. And I think that is something that we are all looking forward to. Understanding maths is a big part of our curriculum at the moment. The children do a daily fluency sessions. Those are short sessions that we do once a day with the children where we recap work that they've learned before. It's pre-teaching, which is where we introduce a concept of something, give them a bit of a taste of it before we actually do it in a formal lesson with them. And it's also a way of overlearning. It's where they get repetition of the same thing over and over again, and then obviously, hopefully, it gets stored in a long-term memory. We play a lot of games with them, which we've been starting to do this term. So we do a lot of dice games. We're teaching them a lot of card games where it involves number work, partnership, working in teams, and we've had lots of fun doing that in the classroom. We've been following a maths recovery curriculum, which is done by Hearts Maths Essentials. As you can see on the slide, what it does is it covers it week by week. What they've done is they've gone back and they've covered some concepts that would have been covered in reception, and then we go over it so that you know we're going back to where the children were, so that it's work that's familiar for them, and trying just to fill any gaps that they would have picked up while we were away due to lockdown. Spelling and phonics is also a very big focus. We have a daily 15-minute phonics and spelling session. We've done the phase 3 sounds. We're now going on to phase 4, which is the blending, their keywords, following spelling patterns. So we're looking at all of that again and again. We've gone back to phase 3, just so that we know that the children find out where they are secure and where the gaps are and what we can do to assist them to fill those gaps and help them to move forward as quickly as they can. Spelling session examples that we might have with them are, for example, on the slide you can see which words have the sound. So we'll give them a list of words: church, window, girl, term, Thursday, and they've got to listen for the words that hear the sound. It could be that every time they hear the word they clap, or they put up their hand, or they do an action, and that just shows us that they're able to differentiate from the sound to other sounds that they're hearing. The other thing that they'll be learning as year 1 goes along is that the different graphemes. Now, a grapheme is the visual representation of the sound. So if it's the sound, as you can see along the bottom, there are 5 ways that you could make those sounds. And that's what the children will learn later on in the year, is all the combinations that will make those different sounds. Spelling lessons, what we also try and do is do as much as we can to help the children remember those sounds. So we'll give them visual clues to help them try and remember the sounds in words. I like the one, I burst the bubble. So the visual representation in the picture just helps them just to place it in their minds and gives them a bit of a trigger to help them remember the spellings of the words. Reading is also very important, along with everything else that's important in our school and in our classroom. The reading expectations that we have for the children is daily in class. We have daily 15 minutes reading sessions as a whole class. Your child will read with an adult in school once per week, sometimes more. Could we please ask you to read with your child at home every single day? I know that sometimes the books can be a little bit tedious because it's the same thing, but the more they read them, the easier they find it to recognize the sounds and the keywords, and their fluency develops, and along with that, their confidence. When they are reading and they've read you the book, ask them questions to see whether they've actually understood what they have read, and what other information that they can give you from it. What we do have are called reading conversations, which I'm doing at the moment with the children. They come and they spend about 10 minutes with me, and we've read a book in class, and I then ask them questions to see what they've remembered. Can they predict what they think is going to happen, and just to check their comprehension of what the stories they've heard and what they've read. It's a lovely one-on-one time with the children where they get to spend time with the teacher without any distractions from other children in the class. And it is a very special time where we just celebrate reading. They will get chance to regularly change their books. They do have access to a lot of books inside the classroom, but please feel free to read to them as much as possible at home. It is so, so important. The teaching of reading. What we do in the classroom and in year one is we have 3 weekly whole class lessons. So it basically goes around building vocabulary, reading out loud, performing their comprehension skills. What have they learnt in that lesson? Have they understood it? So we'll break it up into 3 days. So on the first day, we'll read the book. The second day, we will then read the book again, but then the children will help me read a book. So, for example, we've been reading a book today, and their children will learn a sentence that is repeated throughout the book. And when we get to that sentence in the book, I point to the words, and the children read it back to me using expression, developing their fluency, and mirroring what I've been saying and how I've been saying it. There's daily reading in class of the readers. As you've seen in the front of your child's reading journal, there will be a note to say that when your child's reader will be changed. That just assists us in tracking and making sure that we have listened to everybody read, and it just gives us opportunity to read with everybody at least once a week. Where we can, we try and do it more. Parents reading to children is recommended throughout school to read to them regularly. Whether it's a storybook, whether it's a fiction, non-fiction, anything that takes their interest, just the joy of sitting with you, spending time with you, going through a book is just something that, it is so valuable. And it's one-on-one time with you where, those are where memories are made, and that's where they learn the love of reading. Their reading journals, you've obviously seen, they've come home. I've been seeing some amazing things coming back in, the beautiful pictures and the sentences that they've been writing and what they've been up to, and it's lovely to share. The children will get a chance to share their reading journals on the same day that their book will be changed. So that's something that we'll start doing. I haven't done that yet, but that is something that we'll start doing from next week. Please could I ask you to make sure that the reading journals and their reading books are at home every day. At school every day. It is difficult when we want to change a reader and they don't have their book or they don't have their reading journal at school. There are times where we might have a little bit of a gap and we do have a bit of space and we decide we want to do a bit of extra reading with somebody. If they have the book there, then it just gives us another opportunity. In their reading journals and in their book bags, you'll notice I've put a little box called my phonics box. What we did was a phonics assessment, and what I then did was put the flashcards and the keywords for the ones that your children didn't know. Please could I ask you just to go through them as regularly as you can to try and help us just fill those gaps in the phonic knowledge that they have, and the quicker we can get through it, the quicker we can then move them on. This is the curriculum map. It's available on the website. If you have a look at the curriculum map, it just breaks up the different areas and what we'll be covering in those areas, just to give you an idea of what we will be learning and what your children will be doing at home. It's nice for you to have a look at so that you know exactly what they're doing in geography. Like in geography, we've been doing basic directions on a compass. We'll be looking at symbols on a map. We drew an aerial map of our classroom this week, and that was a lot of fun. I was quite amazed and quite surprised at how well they did. I was very proud of them. In PSHE, we've been looking at their emotional well-being and just getting them settled and happy back at school. Talking about anything that might be scared of, afraid of, things that they're looking forward to. So that's just been a wonderful time of sharing. And we've done it through the medium of books, where we've read books and then we've spoken about them and then personalize it from there. In computing, we've done the BBOTs, where they've learned the language forwards, backwards, left, right. And again, that ties in with the geography. In the maths, we've been going over number, the fact that you might have the number 5, but it can be physically represented in different ways. It could be 5 cats, it could be 5 marbles, it could be 5 anything. The fact is that although the objects change, the value of the number still stays the same. We're looking at patterns. We're going to be looking at addition and subtraction. In reading, I've gone through a lot of the reading, but a big emphasis is using their phonic knowledge to break down words and to blend words in order to read them. Writing, the big focus for us has been sentence writing, capital letters, finger spaces, full stops. What children do find tricky, which is something you can practice at home, is to actually formulate a sentence. The idea of actually coming up with a sentence is the hard bit. So, for example, show them a picture and see how many sentences we can come up with, and then they try and write their own. At least then they have a bank of ideas, so that is something that we're working on with them. Religious studies, we've been learning that different people believe different things, and just that we need to respect what other people believe and celebrate when they're celebrating, and it's an opportunity for us to learn something new. In science at the moment, we've been learning about our bodies, naming our bodies, what they do, doing labels, writing sentences. We're going to be looking at plants, different types of animals. So there's a lot of fun ahead for them. In history, we've been doing living history. It's been an interesting one to see. The children interviewed me the other day, and we compared what it was like when I was little to what it is like for them now. And we showed them photos of jungle gyms and car seats and sweets and toys and things from when I was little to what they have now. And it was a wonderful discussion that we had. We then also have the knowledge organizer. That's just for you to use with your child so that they can see what their learning is going to be about. So we've been doing the history of my life. We've been doing timelines. Soon we're going to set an assignment on the All About Me timeline, which is a project for you to do with them at home. And I can't wait to see the cute pictures that come back, family trees, learning from other people, what is around us in our neighborhood, map symbols, animals, the maps. So it's just for them to be able to look at it and go, oh, I remember doing that, or this is what we're going to be learning. It's just a visual representation for them. The most important dates to remember is the week beginning the 23rd of November. We'll be doing our parent consultations. I am going to miss not seeing you all face-to-face, but we're going to be doing them telephonically or via Google Meet, whichever is convenient for you. So please could I ask you just watch out for those dates when they do come out, because you'll need to book your appointment, and I'd love to share how your child is doing with you. Contact email addresses if you've got any school-related queries. It's admin@leavesden.education, or you can email me on amanda@leavesden.education. Please email me. I might not get back to you immediately because I might be teaching, or I might have got home and I'm busy with my children. But as soon as I do log on, I'll answer you as soon as I can. It doesn't matter how big or how small you think the problem might be. If it's affecting your child or you are concerned, then it's an important one. And if I can put your mind at rest or assist in any way, please just let me know. We've come to the end of our presentation now and our curriculum meeting. I hope you found the information informative. Please, again, if you have any queries after this, please just let me know. Please could I ask you just to check that your child is logged on to Google Classroom so that I can just ensure that it is up and running and sort out any issues before moving on in the year, and you miss out on a whole lot of stuff. Have a wonderful evening, and thank you for taking the time to watch our slide presentation.